So iiSU have just released to their supporters the 7.4 pre-release alpha. So this is the first time I'm looking at it. I've not done any research beforehand outside of just reading the patch notes that Nathan put in the VIP Discord. So I've done the initial setup, so let's dive in. Okie dokie, so it's detected that I'm on a dual screen device as it did last time. So I've pinned just some apps to the start. I've got my Chrome, Obtainium, Solid Explorer, Mimir, which is my app, so make sure you check that out. There'll be a link in the description to that. Settings and YouTube. So already I can see we have this iiSU overlay. So this is used in a lot of themes, but now it does seem to be automatic. So a lot of this is a UI overhaul. So if we go to our settings, we can see that already I like this little icon at the top. We've got a much cleaner, a much neater settings screen. So we've got our active tasks there. So it's currently doing some asset preparation. Like I said, I've just this second installed this and I've just logged into my scrapers and retro achievements and stuff like that. So we head over to the main settings page. So yeah, already this looks a lot cleaner. So one thing I deliberately haven't done is I've not linked it to my ESDE folder because I believe they have made some massive improvements to scraping speed. So we're going to put that to the test shortly. But we can see this menu is so much cleaner. We can customize our hotkeys there, our little shortcut keys. And it just, even the way it loads, it just feels so much more fluid than it did in previous updates. So let's head over to our games tab. So I'm using this XMBB tab because I believe that there's been a lot of overhaul done to this. Again, it does seem a load snappier. And I actually do really like this. I remember it probably felt a bit blocky originally. But as you can see, I've got no artwork, although it has applied the overlays automatically, which is nice. You can disable these, I believe. It's in the system settings. We'll have a look at that at the end of the video. But I do really like those overlays. A great little clean look at your little system logos there. So let's try some scraping. So if I press my start button and go to my settings, I'm going to go to library. Now I've already logged in to Steam Grid DB and Screen Scraper, but firstly I want to do Screen Scraper, so I'm going to press this little arrow here and I'm just going to start. And if I press my right trigger, I should see. So it is still doing some onboarding in the background, although it does say the onboarding is finished there, so I don't know if that's just a bit of a stuck notification there. So we can see it's currently searching for Pokemon X, so we'll see how long this takes to scrape all my games. So it's been running for a couple of minutes now, and it's about a third of the way through almost, and it kind of seems to do it in batches, so it's like it kind of jumps. So it stayed on 0 for a while, then it jumped to 10, then it jumped to 20. So not quite as fast as Neo Station so far, but a far cry from where it was in the previous release. So we'll back out of this. So obviously we've got our active tasks there, which is nice, so we can see what it's currently doing. I think if I go into... So I don't really know what it's waiting for asset prep, because I thought it'd already done that. So I'm assuming that there might be something that needs a little bit of tweaking on that side. So let's have a look at this dynamic borders tab. So this is the dynamic borders. These are the little console border overlays I just showed you. So you can just disable them. So if we head back, we can see that they've gone. Although I do quite like the look of them, so I'm gonna re-enable them. But it is good that you can do it straight from the start menu. It's always nice to have those little easy shortcuts. Now, whilst that's still scraping, I did want to check out, apparently if we go to our appearance, we do have a lot more options for style. We've got a custom selection gradient, so we can change this. So I believe this is the gradient that as you hover around images. So if I put it to something quite noticeable, we'll do like a nice bright red. And then for the secondary colour, we'll do a lovely baby blue turquoisey look. So if I back out of this, so it doesn't really look like it's upgraded much. So I'm assuming it's this selection gradient, but I don't know if I had to save it there or not. So let me just try that again. So like I said, this is a completely blind look for me. I've not played around with this before I started recording. Do I have to add it as a preset and then... so you have to add it as a preset before it'll take effect. So, kind of makes sense. Does need to be a little bit more intuitive though. So, how's our scraper doing? So we're about 2/3 of the way there. So again, done really well, a lot faster than it was. And we've also got this completely revamped retro achievements menu, and this looks incredible. I can also see as well I've got my my retro points, my hearts, I don't know what they are, and then my awards. Is it a different type of points maybe? Don't really know what the heart symbolises. So we can go into a game, we've got these really gorgeous icons. If we click on them, it tells us what the achievement is. And this is much easier to read because if I remember rightly, the original version was kind of a pop-up and it did truncate a lot of the text. So you didn't really get a chance to kind of see what you were supposed to be doing. I don't know if there's a way to... Oh, I didn't mean to swap the screen there. So I don't know if there's a way to order them because I've not played the Tony Hawk's games since I mastered them. So what I'll do is I'll disable my I'm on auto lock. So that's something I have noticed, but a little bit of a quirk of the device itself is the auto lock active screen does mean that you have to kind of tap the screen to get controller support back. So I got a notification that it was missing 2 results, but it hadn't yet finished. So I'm not sure what happened there. See, I don't know if there's a way to... So we can refresh, we can download the hashes, we can show the softcore ones. Doesn't seem to be able to sort them, because, for example, like Time Hollow, I beat the other day because it was the Retro Achievement of the Week. And then a lot of these... Oh, don't know why it's opened Plex and has crashed. So it is an alpha, so that is to be expected. So it didn't finish the onboarding, so let's just see if we can pick up where it left off for that. Obviously, it is good that it does allow you just to tap that in. So we've got some artwork now, so we can quickly have a look through. It definitely does feel snappier. I don't know if they've increased the animation speed, or it's just able to load quicker based on some optimizations they've done on the back end. But I must say, I do really like this XMB theme. If you've used ESDE and you've used the iiSU interpreted theme, I think it's called, that kind of uses the iiSU XMB theme. And I really like it on ESD, but it never seemed as good on this device. But it definitely seems a more viable option now they've done these revamps. I believe as well we can customize the animation speeds and things like that. I think that must be an appearance. So we've got our motions, our animations and timing. Let's try a swipe. So it doesn't really seem like a swipe to me. Oh, that's the page transition. That's me being a muppet. So if we go back to... Oh, here we go. The XMB visuals down here. So we can show the game logo. Use game title artwork instead of text. Oh, let's try that. Or we can show the console title artwork instead of the text. Let's enable both of those, see how we get on. I quite like the drop shadow. We can change the hero art mask. So we'll knock this down to 50. We've got the opacity, dual screen scrim mask, and then our feather at the top. So I reduced the feather a little bit. Oh, so you have these little pop-ups, so they're quite cute. I think this would probably benefit more on a single screen device, but having the little logos pop up, that's pretty cool. I do really like that. I think having a little bit of metadata or something would also look pretty cool, but maybe in a future update that'll be added. So we can see just how much snappier this feels. Obviously I did have that crash before, but it's an alpha. I always say that's the kind of thing you can expect in an alpha. I think we've basically covered most of these new features in this alpha. It definitely seems to be a lot of menu overhaul items and a lot of back-end fixes. And I must say, everything is moving in the right direction. So obviously there's going to be a couple of little quality life fixes to come over the next versions of this release. This is only the first release of 7.4, so I imagine there's probably tons of features that they've not even announced yet, and there'll be a load of optimizations. If you want to get your hands on this pre-release, you can sign up to their Ko-Fi, which I'll leave a link in the description to below. So you need to sign up to that and then link it to your Discord, and that will give you access. It's about $4 or $5 a month, I believe. I can't remember off the top of my head. So there we are. That was just a blind look at the brand new version of iiSU, which has just come out in the past 24 hours. I'm impressed so far. I do really like iiSU. I love what the guys are doing. I don't know if it will become my my daily driver. That honour goes to Neo Station, although I am quite biased because I have been doing some work on it quite a lot recently. But iiSU has really come a long way since I first checked out a few months ago, and it barely worked and it struggled to do anything. So props to the guys for really giving it their all and implementing these optimizations. I do hope that with a lot of these front-end updates that we're due to receive, that it's more focused on quality of life and optimization over new features, because you need a strong foundation to build a big fancy house. If you like this video, I'd always appreciate a like and a subscribe. I've got all sorts of videos coming out about all sorts of different topics over the next few months, so you'll want to make sure you stay tuned for that. Any questions about this release, feel free to drop a comment below and I'll try and answer them as best as I can. Tell your friends and I'll see you next time.